An online reporter writes that UCLA will likely fire Chip Kelly, perhaps as soon as this weekend. Scribes just can't quit fantasizing about Laker trades. And Shohei Ohtani spurns the Angels' offer, sending Dodger hypesters into wave after wave of orgasmic pleasure. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelinos Morning Report. And by the way, all these rumors about trades and free agents, even the far-fetched ones, is just another indicator as to why LA is the greatest sports city in the world. It is November 15th, 2023, and if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. And I will try to get back to you guys about that. Before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. D'Angelo Russell scores 24 points to lead the Lakers back over 500 with a 134-107 victory over Memphis. And by the way, just because Dylan Brooks has skipped town doesn't mean the Memphis Grizzlies have not stopped being an irritant to the Lakers. One of them got in Anthony Davis's face last night, led to an altercation on the court. 5 people got technical fouls, 2 for the Lakers, 3 for Memphis. The Clippers are now on a 6-game losing streak, including 0-5 with James Harden on the court after a 111-108 loss in Denver. Paul George scored 35, but a potential game-tying shot from George wedged into the space between the rim and the backboard. So that's unpleasant. Jump ball, Denver gets the ball game. UC Irvine 70, formerly 16th ranked USC 60. Pop the hype bubble for the Trojans. No disrespect to the Anteater. A little disrespect. Look, guys, I love USC just as much as the next guy. But you can't lose to a school with a weird name, okay? You can't lose to a school with a weird name. You cannot lose, for example, to the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. You cannot lose to the Presbyterian Blue Hose. And you damn sure cannot lose to the UC Irvine Anteaters. Straight and simple. Meanwhile, today, Sacramento's in town to play the Lakers at 7 o'clock. Long Island is at UCLA at 7. The Bruins have been shunned by the AP Top 25. And if you're asking yourself why, it's because thus far, they have been playing schools like Long Island. Do we now have steak to add to the sizzle? That is our top story. So far, the sizzle has all been about Chip Kelly and getting rid of him over at UCLA football. And that sizzle has been provided by the wagging of the fingers over at the LA Times. How dare you pay that man? The shaking of the fist, the indignation, the righteous outrage from the likes of Bill Plaschke and Ben Bolch. Well, now a guy named Tracy Pearson, who writes for something called Bruin Report Online, it's part of 24/7 Sports, he is claiming sources told him that Chip Kelly would likely be fired before the end of the season. Now, if Kelly loses to USC, he's out. But even if Kelly beats USC, then the Bruins are going to wait until the Cal game the week after that. If that happens, then they just fire him, allegedly, and they have an interim coach for the bowl game. Now, look, I can't lie to you. I've never met Tracy Pearson. I don't know if this is clickbait. I don't. I can tell you that he covers UCLA with more depth than the LA Times, though. The LA Times barely covers UCLA football, frankly. And that's on Ben Bolch. I don't know how good Pearson's sources are. Here's what Pearson wrote. You're simply going to have to judge for yourself. Quote, from what I've learned, a significant factor to dismiss Kelly was the perceived lack of a viable path forward as UCLA heads into the Big Ten in 2024. Kelly has little support from donors, especially in terms of NIL donations, which has now become the lifeblood of any college football program and its recruiting. In fact, from what I know, many UCLA donors have chosen not to donate to UCLA's football NIL fund as long as Kelly is the UCLA head coach unquote. You're just going to have to tell me what you think. Because frankly, I don't know if it's clickbait or legit. I'm just trying to be helpful. This board behind me is not just for players the Dodgers are allegedly interested in. It's a bullcrap media rumor mill board because we also use it for players the Lakers are allegedly interested in. Because if you remember, for years, we were swatting away stupid Laker trade rumors. Kyrie Irving, how many hours have been wasted talking about Kyrie Irving coming to the Lakers? Didn't make a damn bit of sense. But The Athletic is reporting that Chicago is open to trading Zack LaVine. Now, he's a two-time All-Star, normally a sharpshooter, but he's having a down year. Guess who the scribes think is at the top of LaVine's wish list? You guessed it. But right now, the Lakers couldn't even do it if they wanted to. In order to make a trade, you have to make the salaries match up. And many of the contracts that the Lakers players have do not become supposedly trade eligible until January 15th. So you've heard this rumor here first, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Because there are way too many moving parts, and because a trade couldn't happen until January, many more things can happen first. The reason I'm telling you this rumor is not because I believe it's going to happen. It's because I want you guys to brace yourself for an onslaught of pointless clickbait stories about how the Lakers are going to get Zack LaVine. We don't know. I'm assuming that this different transaction was made to help with the dopey in-season tournament cash grab in the NBA. The Lakers promoted a guy named Maxwell Lewis in the G League. Congrats. Love to tell you I know he's going to be a difference maker. I'm skeptical. Every potential free agent in Major League Baseball who was handed a qualifying offer by his team has rejected it. That would include Shohei Ohtani of the Angels. The offers were for a little more than $20 million for 1 year. Now, qualifying offers in Major League Baseball are similar to the franchise tag in the NFL. You give somebody a high 1 year contract and the idea of saying, look guys, can we continue to negotiate for a longer term deal? Keep in mind though, the qualifying offer usually is below what the free agent would get more often than not in free agency. The reason, though, that teams issue these qualifying offers, even if they are pretty sure the player is going to refuse it, is because if the player signs with another team, then that team owes draft compensation back to the team that lost the player. Okay? Look to the board behind me. The Dodgers are already linked to 30 bastards back here, including 5 of the 7 people who were given qualifying offers. I've taken the liberty of underlining the players who refused their qualifying offers that are linked to the Dodgers. And yes, Shohei Ohtani is on that list. And yes, this story is only going to add fuel to the Ohtani to the Dodgers hype train. Totally get it. Totally get it. But the more players the Dodgers sign, the more draft compensation they would have to surrender. And the reason the Dodgers continue to have a strong farm system is because they keep rebuilding the farm system, because when they lose players, they get draft compensation right back. You know, think of all the players that the Dodgers have lost over the last few years. Corey Seager, Justin Turner, pitching, etc. They get draft compensation back, and then they rebuild their farm system. The Dodgers also protected 3 minor leaguers from the Rule 5 draft. Now, for those of you who do not know, it is if a minor leaguer does not reach the show in, say, 5 years, another team can pull them away. LA has protected pitchers Nick Frasso, Landon Knack, and catcher Hunter Fiducia. Frasso is the number 4 prospect for the Dodgers. He pitched in Double and Triple A. Knack is 9th ranked, also pitching in Double and Triple A. Fiducia is 29th ranked, which is kind of curious, but who the hell am I? The following doesn't directly impact the Dodgers, but it does indirectly impact them, and I found it interesting. I got into it with a couple of Padres fans yesterday after their owner died. I was not looking to troll, nor did I, because guys, a human being died. And I haven't heard anything bad about the guy other than he liked Padres baseball, right? No reason to stomp on a man's grave over something like that. So no, I did not troll. But I did have what I consider to be legitimate questions about the Padres from what they did in recent history and their questions going forward. That impacts the Dodgers. Question 1. I believe in the later years of his life, Raiders owner Al Davis kept gambling on big names. Warren Sapp, Randy Moss, thinking if I just get one more star, I can get rocketed right into the Super Bowl and get one more title before I die. Did Peter Seidler do the same thing with the Padres? Tell the front office, do whatever it takes to make a super team because I want to win a title before I die. I want to leave a legacy. Now, I'm not trying to say that to disrespect the man at all. I'm not. I just find it to be poignant or melancholy if it's true. Second question is even more important. Did Seidler basically max out his credit cards on an end-of-life splurge to make the Padres that strong, even though they did not win a title? Or for that matter, didn't even qualify for the playoffs last year. End-of-life splurge. What would you do? Would you basically rent out a bunch of hookers and blow, right? Would you get high out as a kite? Would you travel the world? Or would you do possibly what Peter Seidler did and try to leave a legacy in San Diego sports? Remember, the Padres took out a loan to make payroll last year. And they also have a mandate to cut payroll by at least 20%. Here's the final question. Who gets the team in his will? And does that particular person have to sell? Because this is, in fact, something you got willed. Uncle Sam is going to want his piece of the San Diego Padres. Uncle Sam doesn't want to own the San Diego Padres. Uncle Sam wants that money. Does that mean the team will be put on the block in a year or two? Interesting questions that indirectly impact the Dodgers. Now that the Raiders have fired Josh McDaniels, guess who CBSSports.com thinks is the next coach to go? Now, if you said Brandon Staley, please continue to enjoy your breakfast burrito. Well done. Let me give you a couple of stats, though, to lose your hair over if you are a Chargers fan. We all recognize the talent of Justin Herbert. The Chargers have scored, by the way, 1,502 points in games that Herbert started. And they have allowed 1,502 points. Yikesters. By the way, since the start of last offseason, when another team scores 30-plus points, they are a combined 64-9. The Chargers are 1-3. 1-3 when they score more than 30 points. Also, I'm not sure that Herbert is the guy to lead fourth quarter comebacks because Sunday was the Chargers' fourth one-score loss of the season. Something to chew on. If the NFL playoffs started today, the Chargers would not be in. They would have the 14th overall pick. ESPN asked itself, what is the Chargers' biggest need? Because it is never too early to declare your favorite team dead. They think the Bolts need a cornerback, despite Austin Eckler likely leaving as a free agent. Now, I don't take a lot of issue with that, especially after they whiffed on the J.C. Jackson signing a couple of years ago. But not hitting the bullseye on Jackson brings up another question. If you do not believe Jackson fit with Staley's defensive scheme, does that only mean a special type of cornerback fits? Questions for the draft. The Rams, by the way, would have the 7th overall draft pick in the NFL if it were held today. The Rams' biggest need, according to ESPN, is offensive tackle, that they haven't recovered from Andrew Whitworth retiring, or Rob Havenstein can leave as a free agent. I just don't imagine them drafting a tackle in the first round, guys. I could see them drafting a quarterback for Stafford to mentor, but not an offensive tackle. I'm just saying. Meanwhile, welcome back linebacker Keir Thomas to the NFL from the practice squad. Dude only had 4 tackles for the Rams last year, though, so it's not exactly a season saver. Also, we have not talked a lot about stop rate too much this year. It is the percentage of an opponent's drives that end in a punt or a turnover. Last year, USC football ended the season ranked 105th in the nation. Right now, they're 105th in the nation, guys. 56%. And if you're wondering, UCLA is in the top 10 in stop rate, tops in the Pac-12. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me if you think Chip Kelly is basically dead man walking over in Westwood. Talk to me about trade rumors, or for that matter, free agent rumors. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelinos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.